Were you one of the lucky ones to play in MrBeast's Extreme Survival Challenge last year? Today, December 17th, marks the first anniversary of the $1 million competition, and I, maybe just like you, was one of the countless people who participated. It was fun, and I did really well. And so in this video, I'm gonna go over exactly how I got the score I did, from the days leading up to the event to the competition itself, and even what happened in the aftermath. I'll tell you one thing though, my results were truly 1 in a million.
I'm King of Spills, and I make videos about games and life, and if you want more game and life content, I try and fail to put out a new video every week. So, subscribe if you want to hear me ramble more next week.
Fortnite hosted MrBeast's tournament on its own unique map. The challenge featured a Fall Guys style game mode where you had to be the last man standing on Jimmy's Island, though there was more to it than that. Setting the highest possible score in a single 20-ish minute run was the end goal. Players gained points towards their score by performing well in minigames, as well as collecting the coins scattered throughout the game mode, but getting knocked out ended the run and stopped them from scoring any more points. You had unlimited attempts to set your highest score, but you could only make attempts during the 3-hour scoring period on the day of the challenge. Oh, and as I mentioned earlier, the winner would receive $1 million from MrBeast himself, no strings attached. The top 100,000 players on the leaderboard would also receive a special cosmetic prize for their efforts. Don't worry, I'll show it to you at the end of the video, so stick around if you want to see it in action. Every game started you off in the same place, the main arena. It was a honeycomb-shaped stage that required you to complete micro-tasks, such as emoting or getting to the center of the stage while dodging hazards, which kind of reminded me of the game WarioWare. After a while, the game sent you to 1 of 7 possible minigames. Their objectives were a lot like Fall Guys or Squid Game, where you needed to either get first place or get to the end without slipping up. After a minigame finished, you would get sent back to the main arena, play some more WarioWare, and then get teleported to another minigame. You never got the same minigame twice in one run, so if you wanted to get far in this tournament, then you needed to be good at all of them. Now here's a brief description of the minigames that contenders had to deal with. First off, we have red light, green light. Green equals go, red equals stop. Don't break the rules. Next we had the floor is lava, aka don't fall off simulator. After that we had pitfall, or fall down without touching things simulator. Next is the giant maze, or restaurant kids menu simulator. Briefcase treasure hunt, where we had to find the briefcase full of points in Beast Beach. Spleef. It's Spleef. And finally, there's Icy Feet. Get coins, avoid ice projectiles, or feet slippy slidey things. For the record, all of the mini-games don't necessarily have official titles, so I just kind of made them up. After you played all 7 mini-games once, you were placed on the main arena and were tasked with surviving there endlessly, playing an increasingly difficult game of WarioWare until all players were eliminated. This was the final challenge, and I mean final, because your health was constantly ticking down. When your health reached 0, you were knocked out, the game ended, and your score was marked. When it got to this point, you were facing a metaphorical raid boss. This allowed very strong players to set extraordinarily high scores by being the last one left alive for as long as possible. When the map was released a couple days before the actual competition, I decided to give it a try. The Fall Guys survival style of the game mode really appealed to me because I simply enjoy those types of games. After outlasting my opponents in the first couple runs, I actually convinced myself that with enough practice, I might have a shot. And so, prep week began. I spent the days leading up to the event researching the map, developing movement techniques, and devising strategies to better my chances of getting more points throughout a run. For starters, I wanted to see if anyone else had any strategies yet, so I took to Google and I was luckily able to find a map layout that listed all the potential spawn locations of coins and objectives. With each playthrough, I gained more and more knowledge about the way the arena worked, how to take advantage of some of the minigame mechanics, and most importantly, how to consistently place first in every minigame. To give you an idea of what I mean, let me share some of my most important strategies with you. Never stop moving. There was really never a moment where I wasn't moving or thinking about where to go next. This was especially important right before a minigame, so I could get an initial burst of speed at the beginning of every round. This alone made the difference between 0 and $1 million. During red light, green light, there was a set timing on the change between the green to the red transition, and there was a brief window to start sprinting during the end of the red phase, and boy did I use this trick so much, and I always usually ended up either first or second place in this minigame. For the maze run, I would always look for landmarks that showed me where I was, and since I played so many runs, I eventually memorized the layout of the maze, and I knew where to go as soon as I saw those landmarks. For further context, it really helped because it would spawn us in 1 of 4 random locations, and so I had to find a landmark for each spawn location. The briefcase challenge, which was the most luck-based, actually had some strategy to it. The strategy being The briefcase usually spawned relatively close to the spawn area. There was only like 1 or 2 other places where it would spawn in a different location. It mostly spawned right next to you. Just kind of walk behind you and check that main area, and it's usually just sitting right there. Unfortunately, as a functioning member of society, I had a daily job to attend to. Because of this, I could really only fit about 4 to 5 hours of practice every day leading up to the tournament. Though when I could, I would fit some spare time into tuning into live streams of other people playing the map and seeing what their own strategies were. I became relentless and obsessive thinking about the challenge, and I practiced every day and night until the time finally came. The tournament was exactly like my practice rounds, only easier. Most of the people I was matched with during the prep week were really dedicated players grinding the experience like I was. During the actual competition though, anyone and everyone showed up for a shot at the prize, whether it was the big prize or the in-game prize. I got matched with a lot of people without as much experience as my hardcore practice partners, so I was able to cruise a little bit more. Unless I really slipped up, I placed first in every minigame, which was a huge score booster. You've seen the title of this video and you likely know the results already anyway. I was not in fact the grand prize winner. Don't get me wrong though, I gave it my absolute all and ended up doing really well. But my efforts just weren't enough, so what happened? What did I place and where did I go wrong? When I completed my final run at the very end of the 3-hour competition period, I took to the scoreboard and saw that I placed 699th out of everybody. Whoa!
I'm top 700! I just made it! 699!
I had never placed within the top 1,000 of anything like this, and I truly felt like I earned it, and I still feel that way. Another player named Anas won the million, and kudos to him. While I wish I took home the big bucks, I cannot deny that the better player got the victory royale that day. Anas just did everything I did, but with more precision and long-term strategy. As an example, in the Floor's Lava Challenge, he collected twice the amount of coins as me while taking half the risk. But the thing he did best of all was keep his cool, and so many people undervalue this point in any competitive space. If you're like me and get really excited when competing, you tend to get all jittery or nervous, and that's where the mistakes happen. Anas kept it cool until the bitter end, even after when he got his score, and that's how he truly won.
42 koster. Legit min egen rekord, det der.
And so after all the dust settled and the leaderboard was finalized, I ended up checking it again and I saw that I placed 756th instead of 699th, which is still an incredible feat in my eyes. Alright, and so what did I win out of all this in terms of a physical prize? Well, since I was among the top 100,000 players, I got the semi-exclusive Beast umbrella and the glory that came with it in the form of the sense of pride and accomplishment that comes with knowing that you're within the top 1% of players in the world. I really like the umbrella too. MrBeast's brand is pink and blue, but this umbrella was yellow, and I love yellow. I don't know if you can tell. Like I said, I gave it my all, and I ended up cooking some food for thought, so let me make a plate for you and stick around and listen. Ultimately, I had loads of fun. It was great just to see how far I could push myself under the time crunch I had. I felt nervous yet determined, anxious yet excited throughout the entire thing, and I don't regret it even a little. An experience like this also made me really think about what I would do with $1 million. First and foremost, I would have provided my loved ones with some of the funds, as family comes first. I would probably go on a cruise and go see the world since I've never done that before. I would have bought a car so I could be sure to stay mobile and get where I need to go, though not necessarily an expensive one, those too fancy. I would have probably donated a portion of it to charity since living is getting tough around this time and a lot of people need the money more than I do. And even if it is cliche, I would invest the rest into the channel because ultimately I want to see it grow, and the one thing I would choose to grow over wealth is this channel because it's my everything. If you want to support my dream a little, you can help just by liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment. Each subscriber motivates me to continue putting out the highest quality content possible, so don't forget, okay? And I also want to hear from you guys. Tell me what was your most competitive experience and why you decided to compete. The MrBeast Fortnite challenge was an unforgettable experience, and I would do it again if MrBeast decides to make a sequel challenge. Oh, and you best know that if I somehow end up in a MrBeast challenge like staying in a grocery store getting 10K a day, I'll be shooting for that million.